You're
And we're moving to Gemini Brett.
Right.
So I'll ask you to unshare.
Hey, Maurice, I've got the slides for my bit at Zion, so if you will, I'll just start sharing from the top.
Go for it.
But Russell has to stop before I can start.
Oh, am I still?
Okay.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, I don't see where I need to unshare.
I
Share.
got it.
Okay, you got it. Okay.
So here's Astronomy for Astrologer. This is a picture that was taken during a previous retreat where we actually went out to see Jupiter, Venus, and the moon aligned. And that's the wonderful thing about Zion is there's no light pollution, and we can really study the stars during the day and track them in the evening hours. This does mean very little sleep. But who wants to sleep when you are, among masters and you have such an opportunity to absorb cosmic knowledge? So I will stop sharing and you can go.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. I'm Gemini Brett. I will be presenting Astronomy for Astrologers in part 2 of the retreat, 3 days, where we will get out under the sky and connect to what I like to call sacred astronomy. This isn't just geeking out and doing science and math equations. I think too many astrologers feel that that's what astronomy is. I'm not talking about looking through telescopes far and long ago. I'm talking about opening our eyes and expanding our view and connecting to the living sky, connecting to the marriage of the heaven and earth as the ancients did, the ancients that, found their way to this beautiful craft that we call astrology today. So there will be a lot of work outside. We have to get out and put our feet on the ground and look up to connect to this marriage of heaven and earth. And sometimes when we do, we're gifted with amazing sights like this moonbow you see here. But there will also be a lot of classroom time. And I just want to show you a few things. I won't narrate them right now, but I work very hard to create animations of these astronomical teachings so that you're not stuck in some static image to speak about things that, of course, always move, right? Like the Earth about the sun, creating the ecliptic plane, which when we extend towards infinity, connects us to the 12 constellations of the zodiac, right? And so from Earth's point of view, the sun is always moving through one of these 12 star groups. I find it very helpful to have moving images to describe moving astronomy. Yeah. So I want to zoom ahead and get into the teachings, but just to share something I think really important about the zodiac, and this speaks to the short talk that I'll be giving at part 1 of the Zion retreat. One of the principal claims that astronomers make to attempt to debunk astrology is that the constellations are not the same size like the signs are, right? So this is a problem we have to face. The Priestess constellation is giant. The Ram constellation is very small. And they're not even aligned. The tropical signs are not aligned to the constellations anymore because the constellations are not all equal size. They never can be. And this movement, which we call precession of the equinoxes, is something that we'll certainly learn about in Astronomy for Astrologers. And I'll be speaking about it in the short talk too. It's very important for many reasons, this 26,000-year cycle that is known as the Great Year. And we're in a very important time of the precessional cycle now, because the solstices are currently aligned to the galactic crosses. And Jupiter's Capricorn ingress tomorrow will stimulate this, which I will suggest is the greatest astronomical and therefore the greatest astrological happening of our time. The solstices, which are Earth's spine, our pole of spin, are leaning towards the galactic crosses in the sky. This only happens like this galactic alignment every 26,000 years. All right, so it's one thing that I'll talk about actually in this talk, what in the heavens is the zodiac at the Zion Retreat, because not only am I going to show you what I believe the tropical zodiac to be, and we'll look at the meshing with the sidereal zodiac as well, to get after this question of just when is the dawning of the new age, and I'll show you a few possibilities. All right, so Jupiter in Capricorn, and thanks to Autumn Sky Morrison for this beautiful art that I think really speaks to the energetic invitation of this year king, Jupiter's journey through Capricorn. Jupiter is often called the year king because Jupiter is 12 years around the zodiac, spending 1 year in every sign, right? Not really. I mean, many will associate Jupiter's movement 1 year in each sign with the Chinese zodiac, which works this way and repeats in 12 years, right? But Jupiter doesn't ingress when the Chinese New Year starts, and Jupiter's movement is not 1 year per sign or 12 years around the whole trip. It's playful for us and important, I think, to first learn averages, but we have to start looking into the facts, friends. And I think Capricorn asks us to do this, even though Jupiter would prefer kind of big picture, yeah? So Jupiter ingress Sagittarius November 8th, 2018, will ingress Capricorn tomorrow, December 2nd, 2019. That's more than a year, right? As it will be between now and when Jupiter ingresses Aquarius, December 19th, 2020. That one is pretty close to a year, and there's a very beautiful astronomical reason why. All right, so planetary orbital periodicity, right, like 12 years for Jupiter, is about a planet's distance from the sun. But very importantly, planets do not orbit in circles, but rather in ellipses. So the distances are an average of a planet's aphelion, where it's furthest from the sun and therefore slowest, and perihelion, where it's closest to the sun and therefore fastest. And Jupiter's perihelion lives in Aries, the aphelion in Libra, which means that in Cancer and Capricorn, especially in the middle degrees, Jupiter is moving at average speed. Mistake here. I'm actually going to fix it. Jupiter's orbit is not 12 years around the zodiac, but rather 11.86. All right. So Jupiter is in Capricorn, actually moving at the closest to one sign per year, this thing that we teach, coming into like, you know, some structure, coming into this idea of the beauty of time. And these in many regards are Capricorn themes. Let's share another important thing about Jupiter in Capricorn, right? The ecliptic is the plane of Earth's orbit about the sun, but the planets don't live on the plane. And Pluto is perhaps the greatest teacher because he gets so far away. And we're living in a really cool time right now because Pluto in his 248 and a half year orbit is right now crossing the ecliptic, which is the plane of the Earth-Sun relationship at Pluto's south planetary node. And all of the south nodes of these planets that are involved in what I'm calling the Capricorn Council, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, exist in the sign of Capricorn. So they're all very close to the ecliptic, the plane of the Earth-Sun relationship today. There's heliocentric and geocentric nodes. Come to the Astronomy for Astrologers retreat, and I'll tell you all about that. But let me just say for now that on February 25th, 2020, Jupiter, whose longitude is equal to the longitude of the south node, geocentric, will have a 0-degree latitude. In other words, crossing the ecliptic plane. Right? So another idea of Jupiter kind of coming into form, coming into structure, moving at average speed, living at the Earth-Sun relationship, the ecliptic, which extends to the constellations of the zodiac. Right? This is, I think, a beautiful thing of Jupiter, who is so expansive and so spiritual and such a journey agent. There's these astronomical truths that connect Capricorn to the beauty of Saturn. Structure, form, right? But does this mean government and police? and CEOs as we teach in our books? Yeah, but perhaps this is because we've lost our connection to the spirit of Capricorn. And may Jupiter and may this Capricorn council remind us of the true earth nature of Capricorn. For me, I like to study astrology with nature. I believe astrology is the poetic breath of nature. I see Virgo as the spirit of the earth, the leaf reaching for the light. I see Taurus as the fruit in the flower, you know, but Capricorn is the trunk. But let's remember it is also the roots. So I want to just give a bow to my first teacher, Daniel Jamario of the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School, because he transmits a very beautiful archetype for Capricorn, which is the council of grandmothers, the wise ones, the elders who are here to preserve the true traditions of Earth for the 7 future generations. And we have lost our connection to this knowledge. The elder knowledge still exists. It speaks from the earth. There are many elders of indigenous traditions. And truthfully, astrology is an indigenous tradition if we reach back far enough. There are many elders who have practiced this marriage of heaven and earth and this connection to earth wisdom who can guide us. So this year with Jupiter, Spirit moving into Capricorn, the trunk of the tree, I couldn't highly recommend enough connecting to some of the old practices. Where I live in North America, as it's called now, a Nipi, Sweat Lodge, the Lakota Way is an amazing opportunity to reconnect to an experience where we can hear Earth's voice directly in spirit. So I invite you to ground, as Russell said, have a practice. Make that a practice, a spiritual, Jupiterian practice of earth embodiment, of grounding, of really rooting in. Jupiter will connect us not only to the tree of earth, which is the sword of our stone or the spine of Gaia, but Jupiter will also connect us to our own spine and to the spine of our lineage and ancestry. Maurice, I would take 2 more minutes if I have them. So let's speak about
2 minutes, yes.
Okay, let's speak about this idea of galactic alignment. All right, and I really recommend this beautiful text by John Major Jenkins of that name. It speaks about the Maya calendar and the Vedic and the Egyptian and even biblical transformations of this, which I'm calling the greatest astronomical and therefore astrological happening of our day. Now, we often teach galactic center to be at 27 degrees Sagittarius. And indeed, that's where the galactic center projects to as we draw a line to the ecliptic. But this is an image of Jupiter's ingress, Capricorn tomorrow. And I want you to see another aspect of galactic alignment. So the galactic center very beautifully is between the pointer, the arrow of the archer, the tail of the scorpion. Ophiuchus stands on that point, and we see this in the mysteries. But let me bring in the Milky Way here and see that this galactic cross, where the ecliptic, the plane of our solar system, crosses the Milky Way, right, our larger neighborhood, is now aligned in our day and age to 0 degrees Capricorn. So this seems to be what the Maya 2012 date was about. So many different prophecies. I very highly recommend, again, that you read John Major Jenkins' book. And I want to show you one other thing, which will lead to our next presenter's topics. This is the galactic cross at 0 degrees tropical Capricorn in our day and age. On the opposite side of the sky, the ecliptic is crossing the galactic equator, the Milky Way, at 0 degrees Cancer, on the hand of the high man, or Kalparish, as in Bengali, Orion, time man. And so in Lakota star knowledge, this place of the sky is known as the sacred hoop, and we're told that our souls come from there. I just want to read this one cryptic line from Mark 14, which says, "But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer." I'm going to skip to his response when he was grilled and asked if he's the son of the Messiah. He said, I am, and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. The clouds of heaven are the Milky Way. The Mighty One is Orion. And in 2001, we had a total solar eclipse right there on June solstice. And in 2020, an annular solar eclipse, this ring of fire solar eclipse on the hand of the High Man. I wrote a short article about that for the Career Astrologer. You can catch moving forward. You can see on my website how I've found that this is also told in the Capitol building of the United States. So GeminiBrett.com, check out Washington Deciphered. Thanks to Autumn Sky Morrison for these beautiful images. You can find some free astronomical for astrologers training at my website, but nothing to the extent of what I will be teaching in Zion. I'm very excited to bring you out under the sky to celebrate this marriage of heaven and earth with you.
Thank you so much. I just want to remind everyone that Gemini will be teaching during part 2 of the retreat. So it's not going to be a regular track. It's a part 2 track that works together with the consulting skills and the peer group. So it's 3-day immersion. And from our experience, it's really important to not just, to concentrate this knowledge and not just, have an hour here or another couple of hours at another time, but to really immerse yourself for those 3 days so you can integrate this knowledge. It's a lot of information, combining practice with theory. And so we hope you take the time, because we go back to our essential guideline to elevate the standards of astrology. Astrologers do need to learn more about astronomy. We cannot just rely on our computers, on our flat charts. We need to renature, as Gemini was saying, renature astrology. Thank you.